Hey guys, today I'm going to be unboxing the RE100 Bawoo. So it's nice to finally have the next in the RE100 line, a line that I really do quite like, I have to say, and it's the Bawoo. It was definitely a big surprise when this was announced. It was not something that I was expecting, but it's a welcome surprise. The Bawoo has never been like a design that I'm really crazy about, but it's definitely a cool design. It transforms, which I don't really care too much about that either, but it's cool that this is the first in the RE line that does have a transformation. It's barely a transformation, I think, that you could really call. It basically just comes apart and a couple parts fold up. There's really not a whole lot to it, but it is a transformation nonetheless. So we'll take a look at that, of course, in the review. The box art here is looking pretty cool. The Bawoo, I have to say, it has never looked tougher than it does in this art right here. And yeah, just a cool design from Double Zeta, a series that a lot of people don't really care too much for, and probably even more people have never even watched. But it's worth checking out if you ever have the time or have the urge to watch it. There's a lot of really cool designs in there, actually. So yeah, we've got this, and then we've got the P Bandai Rebawoo that'll be coming out a couple months later. I will be getting that because I do really like that design quite a bit as well. So I'll review that when that one comes out. Anyway, just then the name there at the bottom. Couldn't really see that in this angle, but then here on the side you can see this is number 006 in the line. So that means the next one, which I believe is probably the Hama Hama. We still don't know at the time of me filming this, but the next one will be 007. Criminally low number, as I wish they would make more of these kits. But anyway, here's a little bit about the Bawoo. It says, when Glemmy first tried the Bawoo, which Neo Zeon created based on the Zeta Gundam units and other Zeta Project MS, he lauded the unit's biggest strengths, its fluid, effortless mobility as the Bawoo attacker, and its enormous potential as an escape unit. Okay, yeah. Potential as an escape unit is definitely a feature that I would be looking for. What? Anyway, so here's a nice front and back image of this. The one thing that's really nice about this compared with the HG kit is that this has a really nice, big, like bulky look to it. And just looks really meaty and a lot of really nice detail. So here on the other side we've got just more action shots here. You can see just more of the articulation. Looks pretty well articulated. One thing that the RE line does not have is good articulation, unfortunately. But this one looks pretty standard, on par with the GP04 or the Gundam Mark III probably. And then there it is, transformed there. Again, the legs, it's pretty much just like turning the legs. The arms, the top part, you're folding some parts. That's a little bit of a transformation there. 3,500 yen for the price tag for this. Seems pretty good, I'd say. We got a pretty nice big box here. First up is our multicolor runner there, which is not runner A, interestingly. And then a sticker sheet, which I can see has a lot of stuff on it, and some effect parts. Some looks like mechanical parts here, and some black parts for some of those parts. A couple more foil stickers in there as well, actually. We've got our yellow parts, of course. This particular color scheme is not really my favorite. Yeah, my favorite color scheme for the Bawoo is the sleeves version from Gundam Unicorn. It's actually really quite nice in like that dark green and black color with the white lining for the sleeves. That looks really cool. Anyway, there's lots more red parts here, lots of really nice detail on there I can see. And then there's our polycaps there. Same polycaps as the other RE kits, it looks like. Really interesting way that they designed those polycaps. So here's our box art there. Once again, it's very dark. Yes, indeed. You can't really see how kind of McDonald's colored the mobile suit is, but then here at the bottom, you can. In case you want to read that English, you can check that out if you can pause the video. Anyway, going around to the back, weapon and mechanism, got just some more posing here. Has a lot of cool stuff. Beam saber there, mounted in like the forearm, it looks like. And then Let's see, just, yeah, it can hold the beam saber, it's got the rifle, it's got a little bit of this, it's got a little bit of that, it's got missiles that look like they're optional, attaching onto the wings. It looks like maybe you can just choose whether you want to have those mounted on there or not. Some grenade launcher in the fist as well, kind of in the forearms, I should say. So looks like it's a pretty good gimmicks built into this kit. That's nice. Painting guide here at the bottom, again, is there in English and Japanese. The English is pretty small in this case, so I'm not sure you can really see that. But if you are interested in seeing that, maybe I'd recommend checking out Dalang. Probably has it on there. Here is our parts list. We're going to be using everything except for about half of the polycap runner. I have a lot of leftover polycaps. The construction is going to be going here. You can see it's going from the body, head, arms, waist, legs, wings, beam rifle, shield, beam sabers, Bawoo attacker, Bawoo nutter,
Bawoo nutter, Bawoo nutter.
Okay, anyway, these manuals are also cool because they have this like exploded look of the part that you're building, which is kind of interesting. And it also shows you the runners that you're going to be using for that part, which is not really all that helpful, I don't think. So here's the construction of the body unit. It's going to be a little bit more complicated just due to the transformation, but I'm guessing it's not going to be really overly complicated like this would be if it were, say, a full-on master grade kit. And it's just going to do what it needs to do. There's the head, which is going to be very not complicated, only a few parts there built into that. The arms, again, cool exploded view of that. Arms, and then the waist unit. Then the leg unit, as you can see, very simple there. So it's not going to have any sort of full frame going through that, just parts there for the joints only. So building up the legs, and then finishing up the lower body, snapping that onto the upper body there, and then onto the backpack or the wing units, as it's calling them here. Wing units, then onto the weapons. The rifle is just a couple parts. The shield is just a couple parts. And it looks like the kind of thrusters there on the shield, those are not molded as separate parts. Or yeah, they are. Here we go. You can see that is a separate part that will feed through that main part. Okay, so that's nice. And then just you can move the mono eye. By turning that little piece, you can open up the forearm to show the missiles in there, or I think it said grenades it was. And then here is about the transformation. So you can see we're going to pull the top and bottom apart. You have to fold some stuff to pull it apart. And then making the Bawoo attacker, folding that stuff around like that. And then making the Bawoo nutter. So anyway, finally here at the end is the sticker markings. So there's just a layout of where all the markings are going to be going on the mobile suit. Yeah, alright, let's get into the runners. First up is our foil sticker sheet, which is just two little green circles. I'm guessing one for the mono eye and one for the camera on the rifle. Then we have our marking stickers here, obviously that big, very iconic one there for the front skirt, and then a whole bunch of these Xeon markings, and then these markings, not really quite sure exactly what that one is, Neo Xeon I should say. Then a whole bunch of just like caution markings, other Neo Xeon markings, AMX 107 there. So some pretty nice markings on this. Won't really be using these. So anyway, I'll just kind of keep those off to the side. SB1 for some pretty standard 1/100 scale beam saber effect parts, in this case in clear yellow. And then PC 210 for our polycap runner, the standard polycap runner we've been using for the other RE100 kits, all molded in just standard gray. Alright, so starting off with runner A here, pretty large runner, I think one of the largest in the whole thing. It's got their parts for the legs, obviously, parts for what looks like maybe arms and skirt and chest and all of that here in this red color. And this red color is definitely like a little bit of an orangish, pinkish red. It's a very interesting shade of red, actually. The runner markings for these is going to be RE100 Bawoo. Then runner B is getting into obviously some mechanical detail parts here, so mechanic stuff, joint stuff, things like that. Hands we can see on here as well. And this is in a little bit darker gray than we'd normally see for these type of parts, so it's not just your standard neutral gray. This is definitely a little bit of a darker tone. Same color here for the C runner, as we just have a bunch of parts for just joints and things like that inside the shoulders there for those parts. Of course, lots of really nice detail here. We do have two of the C runner. And then runner D is back to that reddish color, as we just have parts for wings and all of that kind of stuff, shoulders for arms. A lot of stuff that's going to be doubled because we do have 2 of the D runner as well. One thing I will point out is that these little fuel tanks for the backpack, it's nice that those are just molded all as one piece so that you won't have any seam lines on the fuel tanks to have to get rid of. That is a pretty common thing that you would almost expect, but in this case you don't have that. So anyway, taking a look at some of the details on here, you can see lots of really nice details on these parts, as is pretty standard for the RE100 line, but it's going to look really nice when it's all painted up and done. And there is no E2, but there is an E1 here molded in yellow. Really nice color of yellow as well. It's not like a really obnoxious yellow color, but it's slightly palish yellow. So yeah, pretty nice here. Parts for the feet and other different little yellow accents, a lot of little thrusters and verniers like that. We do have 2 of this E runner. I'm guessing that the reason this is E1 and there is no other E2 or anything is that E2 will probably be something that will be included in the Bawoo kit. And then runner F here is in black. Just some parts for the torso, arms, all things like that. Just here, stuff in black. Runner G is back to the red color for a few more parts of that. There's parts for the head, most notably. One thing to quickly go back to is the front skirts here. We can see that kind of Japanese character that we get the sticker for is not molded into here, so if you were wondering about that, if you could just paint that in, it's not molded into the front skirt, so it will just have to be a sticker or decal that you place on that. And finally, what looks like it should be our A runner is actually our last runner. Here's runner H, multicolored in 4 different colors here, standard gray for the parts for the rifle, so that's pretty nice. More yellow stuff here. A couple of maroon parts there for the shield, and looks like I think that's a part for the backpack or the back of the shield probably. And then a couple more reddish parts there for the shield as well. I think that's a slightly different red color actually for those. It's a little bit just kind of pale red. As you can see, some really nice details here for these parts. This one here going on the shield and this one here going on the chest. So I was thinking that that was probably going to be a part that would feed through from underneath, but it's going to be a part that you'll just put right there onto the chest. Really, really fine. Going to be you're going to have to be really careful not to break that part. So that is it for unboxing the RE100 Bawoo. Yes, before it's released, we were not sure which version of the Bawoo to expect. This is what we got, and I'm happy with it. Again, between this one or the green one, there's really not too much difference. I forget the actual name anyway, but I think the green one is just the mass production type one, possibly. I forget. Anyway, but like I said, my favorite version would be the sleeves version. I thought that maybe the sleeves version would be the P Bandai kit because it would only be a couple of extra parts just to make these sleeves parts. But instead it's going to be the Bawoo, which is a lot more different parts. But that'll be really nice. I'm really looking forward to that. When that comes out, I have the HG, which I need to get around to finishing someday. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this unboxing. I'll see you guys coming up in the review. If you have any other questions or comments, leave those down below. Otherwise, have a good one. Bye-bye.